Hi there, my name is Anna, and I am here with Alexander Soltys Jones, and today we are going to be talking about meditation. Alex is a spiritual director and meditative teacher, and he's been studying this subject for over 50 years. And it's a pleasure to be here with you again, Alexander. How are you doing today on this full moon, January 17th, 2022?
Yeah, it's a year of expansion, that's for sure. And I'm so proud that you're getting your production site up to speed, and we're having these broadcasts.
Well, what I love is that you have a beautiful tree and plant behind you. So you have life indoors. I also have all my plants stored indoors, and I have a plant room in the back. So it's so nice to see some living plants, and that you've kept them so well. That one seems like it's growing.
Yeah. almost a hat covering here. Yeah.
I was looking through your many books that I have of yours, an array of your books, and you wrote a book on meditation where East and West meet. How long ago did you write this book, Alex?
It's in the 80s. I'm sure that's what it is. But by the way, what I've done, Anna, is Meditation Where East and West Meet was the original title of the book. I've changed the title to Spiritualized Meditation. And I remember watching the lady who started, Sounds True. She was interviewing somebody from, it was LinkedIn, and they were starting a meditation course in LinkedIn. And I did a meditation course too when I worked at a stress management clinic. Basically, what she said at the end of the interview, which was a great interview as far as working with stress management and that approach, which is wonderful. Meditation is the greatest tool you can use for that. But she said at the end, I appreciate that, but I want to hear more about spirituality and meditation, those deeper connections, just beyond, just as a stress management tool. So one of the reasons why I did change the title and reworked it is I wanted to bring out the spiritual element, so spiritualized meditation, and that's what I've done. And a lot of people don't know this. The reason Buddha started in mindfulness meditation, and it's a great relaxation tool. It's a great stress management tool, no doubt about it, because I use it, and I did in the clinic when I worked there. But why Buddha started mindfulness meditation was, for one, is to realize once you become not preoccupied in the past or in the regrets of the past or anticipating the future and the fears that may come of that, but be centered in the present moment, the moment that's happening now, that's where we can tune into, connect with the senses. That's where we can quiet the mind and be in the present moment. And then we can be stress-free because we're just living in the present moment and enjoying the present moment. But Buddha wanted to take it one step further. He said, by observing the present moment, by being aware of the now, we understand that the world is changeable. He wanted his devotees to understand that everything is impermanent. There's no fixed reality here. Everything is changeable. So understanding that is why a Buddhist in some of their rituals would put flowers on the altar, and they'd leave them there. Why? Because they would see that they would decay, after time, cut flowers and they would wilt. One of the reasons why Buddhists would meditate on a corpse or such practices like that. It's to understand that this world is changeable, is ever changing, it's impermanent. There's no fixed reality here. It's a world of contrast, up, down, light, shadow, pleasure, pain, joy, sorrow, health, sickness, life, and death. You can't escape it. It's a dual state of consciousness, and it's changeable. What Buddha wanted us to do, and why I'm bringing this out in spiritualized meditation, is to connect with that changeless part of ourself, that diamond essence, that core essence of our being that's beyond the senses, beyond the mind, soul, if you like, or divine consciousness or higher states of consciousness, but to feel, to become rooted in that changeless part of ourselves, this changeless joy, changeless love, peace, that intuition, those qualities that we already have that are ever with us. They're eternal qualities, not changeable. And we can become rooted and connected with that changeless part of ourselves. So hence spiritualized meditation.
I'm so glad you told me that. Now, is that book available for purchase then? Can people purchase that?
Yes, it's available. Yeah, you can get it direct from me, but it is on Amazon. It is on Amazon, yes.
Well, I really encourage people to connect with you personally, because I really do feel that if someone is going to purchase a book, that they really have opportunity to connect with you in person. We really want to offer the opportunity to connect with you, to connect with us. We have a health center up north, and the Nature Cares Natural Health Center, where we offer day where people can come up on their own with a family, with a spouse, maybe with their children, and we talk health and wellness. And your wisdom and your knowledge is so valuable. So I do encourage that people can go to alexmeditation.com to find out all the books that Alex wrote. As you were talking and you had your hand on your throat, you were reminding me of the different energy centers in our body. You have written in your 7 Mansions of Color, you wrote the quality intelligence that is featured in each area of the body, and also you associated a color, even a key on the, like a piano key, like so the key of C associating with the color red, and also the root chakra. So you, in your book, what's so amazing, I have a piece of paper on marked on page 78 where you give this incredible chart on the spectrums of color and the vibration relationship towards the spectrum of color and the area. So we are talking meditation today, and what's really fascinating is that through sound, through humming, through chanting, through focusing, there's so many different aspects of meditation. So we're really going to have some great conversations together with this subject.
Well, we'll talk about a bit about the techniques of meditation, a simple getting started meditation. But I want to encourage right from the get-go, meditation is just a means to an end. It's not the end in itself. We already have the end. What we're trying to achieve through meditation is to create a space, to create that quiet, that stillness, where the mind is calm. And and in that stillness, then we begin to realize, beyond the restless conscious mind or even the fanciful subconscious, we tune into the superconscious state. And that's where the treasure house is. That's where those changeless qualities I was talking about reside, in that higher state of awareness or consciousness. And then we practice meditation to create that stillness, just to remember what we already have. It's not that we need to get anything, it's just, or acquire anything. It's just opening up to remember what we already have, that diamond part essence of ourselves. By focusing at the spiritual eye here, this is one of the things I teach. This is very scientific. And you've had an experience when you can tell us of your experience of the spiritual eye. As soon as I focus here, I feel instant peace and a bliss. It's a beautiful experience. Some people see the light here at the spiritual eye, but this is one of the chakra centers we were just talking about. So focusing there. But sometimes we can see in our meditation inwardly, we could talk about the external manifestations of the colors and sounds and their intelligence. But I'll talk about internally. If we focus on here at the spiritual eye, some people see the light in the spiritual eye. But if we could see also the colors of the different chakras, as you mentioned, the red vibrates to the coccygeal. If you begin to start opening that chakra, you begin to see a red color reflected in the spiritual eye. And it's not physical, it's a spiritual perception. Remember Ramakrishna talked about, We have love ears and love eyes. When he's talking about the love eye, he's talking about this one here, spiritual eye. So we can see reflected in here a red color. And if we go up to the sacral, we would see an orange, or and the solar plexus is yellow, and the heart is green. And then we're talking about the throat, and that's blue that we see reflected in here. Indigo for the spiritual eye, violet for the crown chakra. So sometimes when we're meditating, we can see those specific colors. But all vibrations have three qualities: a color, a sound, and an intelligence. And that goes right down to the one vibration that's coming out of spirit, that perfect vibration, that one manifesting vibration. It has a color, of course, it's white light, we see it here, but it has a sound. And the sound is the Om vibration. In Christianity, it's known as the sound of many waters, the Holy Ghost, the Comforter, the sound of the trumpet. All these are talking about that one basic vibration, that sound that's coming out of spirit. The intelligence is that universal vibration that's manifesting in all of creation, which is the Christ consciousness. So if we're seeing that, we may hear it as that Om sound, or we may feel it as the Christ consciousness. If we come down into, say, the spiritual eye, which is indigo color, we can still hear the Om sound. That's what resonates with that chakra. But the intuition is that main quality that we experience, that quality. The throat, of course, blue. We're hearing a wind-like sound, like through the pines. It was a rushing wind sound. And certainly Jesus' disciples talked about that in Pentecost, that wind sound that they were hearing. They were talking about this, and they were talking about the Om sound. But the qualities are creative center, it's the creative energy, it's also devotion, faith, loyalty, these qualities, but especially the creative center. If we're feeling stuck creatively and not expressing ourselves, we could just have problems with the throat. I should have really a blue scarf around me or a blue energy, because I have a tickling in the throat, and we need some of your herbs for this tickling I'm feeling, which is sort of subsiding now because I'm expressing.
The mother instinct in me wants to serve you a tea and with honey and make you feel better.
That would have went over really well. That would have been helpful. Yeah. Well, let me just finish off with the chakras, because you may experience these in meditation. If you're seeing green in the spiritual eye, or if you're hearing a bell-like sound, and this is why we resonate with the bells of churches and that bell sound and the gong, it's because it's reminding us of that sound that we can hear when we tune into the heart center. And of course, the beautiful qualities of love, peace, balance, and harmony, growth and healing. These are the kinds of the attributes we begin to feel within, these inner qualities. The power center, the belly button area, the solar plexus area. A lot of martial arts talk about focusing there because it's the power center, keeping their awareness at that center. But it's the qualities of joy, power, as I just mentioned. And we begin to hear a harp-like sound. And John in Revelations, he talked about harpers harping with their harps. He's talking about that sound that we can hear from that chakra center. And also John is talking about in Revelations, most people don't even know this, but when John talks about 7 churches, 7 candlesticks, 7 stars, 7 seals throughout Revelations, he's talking about these chakra centers, these energy centers in the spine, and the experience that we can have through them. And that's what he's talking about when he's talking about those 7 centers. So we'll just finish with the sacral. That's optimism and courage. It's the yellow energy. You're going to be hearing a flute-like sound. And then the coccygeal is a buzzing bumblebee sound. I mean, these are hard to put in physical words because they're not physical. They're astral sounds. But that's the best way we can share those energies. So strength and power, vitality is what we're feeling from that chakra. So yeah, when we start to open up in meditation and we interiorize, then we begin to hear these subtler vibrations or subtler energies.
I've tapped in through meditation to this space of sound, and I had no idea that that each chakra, each energy center actually had almost a instrument associated with that.
I just want to make a comment on what you said. In that Om vibration, that sacred vibration, that's the pure vibration that's coming out of spirit, everything is within it. All the music that you can possibly conceive of. That's why Christ's disciples at Pentecost, when they heard that sacred sound, were able to speak in all tongues, because it's the mother of all language, it's the mother of all sound. So that high frequency energy that you're feeling is an aspect of that Om vibration. And you're very lucky to hear that, because that's that changeless part of yourself I'm talking about. You're hooking into that subtle vibration, and it's that changeless part of yourself. But for me, myself personally, because I've been doing this for so long, for 50 years, I have one goal. It's to get that mind so still that there's no thoughts. The thoughts are totally subsided. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to feel those vibrations I'm talking about. If we just talk about bliss, we're starting to feel that energy. And then in time, what happens is you're just hearing it in the beginning, or you're hearing that sound, or you're beginning to feel it. But when I thought, what am I trying to do in meditation? And the thought came to me, here I am at a certain vibration. I'll put my hands up here for a demonstration. Here I am at, say, a grosser vibration of material consciousness. But love is so delicate, so refined. That own vibration, that bliss consciousness, it's such a refined vibration. What am I trying to do in meditation? I'm trying to make my vibration become more and more subtle, by getting to that silence or stillness, and to allow my consciousness to all of a sudden, I'm pulsing on the same vibration or the same frequency. I'm pulsing with love. I'm pulsing with bliss. So that's what I'm trying to do in meditation, because I want it. And I remember a friend of mine said, yeah, you get to the point where you begin to feel like you're riding it. You're floating on it. And that's what Yogananda said, who's teaching you I follow. He said, you feel like you're floating on a breeze of bliss, floating on a breeze of bliss. Yeah, you try to become one with it. But not only that, and then you start to feel an expansion, because peace, love, bliss, those divine qualities are in every atom of creation, every atom of creation. So say I'm meditating on peace, then I start to feel the peace within me. Then I feel that every cell of my body is peace. And I'm hooking in and I'm trying to synchronize with that peace. And I feel I'm vibrating on that vibration. Then I expand with it. I begin to feel that my consciousness is not just this body, not just this mind. It's my entire surroundings. It's everything. Peace is in everything. So I begin to expand with it till I feel I'm one with peace and everything. And that way I become one with spirit, because I become one with that quality of spirit throughout the cosmos. And that's why Jesus and the great masters, they were omnipresent. They could know what was going on, in their immediate surroundings, or they could see future events. They were just connected to that omnipresent consciousness, omniscient consciousness. So that's what I'm personally trying to do in my meditation.
Oh, I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because in the world we live in right now, we need to be able to train our body, our mind, our soul to tap into that special place of bliss, especially to counteract a lot of the mud that gets thrown on us in today's world. And to share with you my experience of when I learned how to meditate through that special spot properly. I was with you, you were instructing a meditation, and I never really understood how to gaze through that third eye. And as soon as I actually was doing the technique properly, it's like I saw, my soul, my spirit was traveling through this tunnel, and I had an out-of-body experience. It was quite fascinating. And it was just wonderful how easy and effortless it was to get to that beautiful place of bliss. And I just want to seek it all the time now. I call it, my magic carpet ride. And I don't think a lot of people really understand the proper way to do that. And when I do a meditation, I start my meditation, I start to see purple color swirling in a clockwise.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. centered in here, you become like a witness consciousness. You become witnessing.
Witness. I like that,
Um,
witness conscious. When you were saying visualizing the different colors, is it that you're witnessing, you're almost picturing your body and picturing that energy center through that third eye?
you know, in meditation, you can do that. You can visualize the different chakras if you're not seeing them in the spiritual eye. You can visualize the different chakras with their colors, red, and they have different healing qualities. I mean, if for a color therapist, an external way, they would shine a red light on the coccygeal area. If there's paralysis of the legs, because that's what's ruling that chakra, that energy, all healing is just getting the life force stimulated. Somehow the life force is stuck. And that life force, life energy, prana that we have within, knows it has intelligent consciousness. But if it's stuck, it's being limited. If we can just get that energy center open, then the energy flows to the lower limbs and perhaps heals that paralysis. That's on an external level using color, but you can visualize the chakra and stimulate that. But what I'm talking about, what you're seeing in the spiritual eye, is you're not visualizing it. You're actually seeing it through the eyes of intuition. It's an intuitive experience. It's not a visualization, because that's using, the power of the subconscious mind, or, visualizing. No, I'm talking about an intuition. I'm talking about an actual intuitive experience. And you talked about you're seeing the swirling purple. You're not visualizing it, are you? No, you're not seeing it with your physical eyes either. No, the only way you can perceive that is through intuition. And that's the only way we can perceive our higher states of consciousness. And our soul, or God, is through intuition. It's an intuitive experience, far beyond the reason. We can't reason our way to these higher states of consciousness. It's impossible. The divine, our soul, our pure essence is so refined. Intellect can't even come close, or reasoning can't even come close to perceiving it. No, we got to shut it down. We got to still it so we can allow that intuition to open up. So I hope that's making a bit more clear. But what you're seeing, that purple, is an intuitive perception. Yeah, when you're seeing it, you want to go deeper. Even still, you want to feel it. You want to feel the qualities of that purple energy, that spiritual realization. Or if you're seeing green here, you may be seeing it, but you want to go deeper. You want to become one with it. That you feel it. You feel the love in it, the peace within it, those inner perceptions. Then you're hooked when you start to feel it.
I'm also thinking of the ability that we have to scan our own body for illnesses, or through dis-ease, or through those imbalances. And we can really become our own doctors, if you will, to ourselves, because we're scanning within, we're tapping into our own intelligence. And this can be really a tool for scanning the body, just like a doctor would put check you with different tools. We have that quality of intelligence within our own being, don't we?
Absolutely. And it was that witnessing consciousness we were talking about. If we're still enough and get into that witnessing consciousness, then we can perceive the body and as you say, scan it and intuitively know where the blocks are and what we need to, and where the tension is and what we need to work out. Make it a bit more grounded, because we've been talking about the metaphysical plane, perceiving the bliss, the joy, and the love. But once you feel it, and you begin to vibrate with it, the mud that's on our consciousness that's blocking our diamond spontaneously begins to fall off. I've done therapy work and that's like the jackhammer effect of trying to clear out some of these blocks and stuff, and it's very effective. But sometimes it's very, very, very harsh. But if we can go to finding these subtle vibrations, then the mud begins to fall off, because we found something higher and we're resonating with it. Then we can bring that perception that we have into our physical life, into our physical dimension. And then we're carrying that peace in our body. But not only that, we're being like the diamond that's reflecting that peace to ourselves, into our into our body, into our mind, but into others and into our environment. So we become walking models of peace. I mean, many people have said to me, if they feel they're in my presence, they feel the peace of my presence. Well, that's the fruit of meditation. It's the effect of connecting with that inner peace and allowing that peace to flow. And then when we are in that peace state of consciousness or in these higher states of awareness, then we have a window to discriminate. We're not so reactive. Most people, stimulus response, stimulus response, stimulus response. If somebody says something, wham, it's stimulus response. No break in their thinking, no time for discrimination. It's just response after response after response. Most people live their life that way. If we start doing the meditative life and we open up the window, the mind is calmer. Then we can discriminate. We're not so responsive in a negative way. We can respond in a more loving, compassionate way, or a more discriminative way, because we've had that chance, that time to step back into that witnessing consciousness instead of just reacting. So it's an inner journey, but it's also taking that inner journey into the higher states of consciousness and allow them to reflect in our everyday life. And coming back to what you just said, to be intuitively aware of our body. And if there is any disharmony or dis-ease, then we become more sensitive to it and what needs to be worked out. And we perhaps have that intuitive sense of what bottle on the back of the shelf that you have there, we have the intuitive perception of which one to go for, because we have a clear vibration or energy. Also, I want to just make a comment as something I said before. All vibrations have three properties: a color, sound, and intelligence. Yes, when you start to open up and you start to feel those vibrations or connect with them, yes, you can see the sound, or because it's that same vibration you're perceiving. At that one vibration you're perceiving as a sound or a color or that intelligence or feeling. So you may get all three, or you may get two. So yes, people will open up to that kind of experience, of course, because they're resonating with that one particular vibration or energy. The other thing I found in meditation too, which is beautiful, all wisdom is there. And I remember when I was writing my music and doing my songs, as I was performing one of my songs, I just realized there is no song I can ever sing that God has not already sung. There is no song that I can sing that God has not already sung. And I remember listening to people like Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan says, I write nothing. I just pull them out of the air. And it's true that it's all there. It's all there. And we've been placed in this beautiful creation, and we can tune in to these subtler vibrations and to the music of the spheres. And Anna, you're doing it. You're talking about connecting and those sounds that are coming to you and the music that's coming to you. Yeah.
I've been playing piano since I was 5 years old. My mom and dad both had a dream to have their little girl play piano, and piano came to me with ease. And it was very difficult, though, to progress through my Royal Conservatory training, and it was a very big commitment, and I wanted to quit thousands of times, and my mom and dad would not let me quit piano, and I'm so grateful to them for that. What I did not realize through all my training in music, going all the way to grade 10 and playing very complicated music, is that there is an incredible intelligence within music. And that's when I started to study sound and the intelligence within sound. And when your book talked about the quality and intelligence of each key, I realized I was transforming my body by playing music for hours in certain keys. And my root key that I play most of my music in is in the key of C. And in your book, you talk about that as being associated with the color red and the root chakra, and the quality intelligence is power and vitality. And as I was playing music for 3 years in the key of C for hours a day, I started tapping into this quality intelligence in my body, and I was losing weight. I was having so much energy, and it was in combination with all the wonderful food I was eating and time in nature. But when I really looked at the power of music, I thought, wow, we need to talk about this more, because I believe that the future of medicine and the future of healing is through sound, through light, through food, obviously our spiritual connection. But if people realize the power of meditating and sound and how it all connects, it really can be life-changing. And I know we want to offer natural healing solutions to people. So thank you for being on this journey of doing that with me. Can you just explain the way to gaze through that portal, through that third eye space? When someone begins to meditate, could you just maybe explain how to gaze at that?
Yes, I could do. Yeah, I can do that as a meditation teacher, and I've been teaching meditation for such a long time. And by looking at the spiritual eye, it's a simple thing. You don't want to look cross-eyed. You don't want to look up too high either. When I do my meditation classes and I look at students and they're looking up, they're straining and they're looking up way up the high. I remember one guy made a joke, but he said, well, why are you looking up so high? You're almost looking up at the ceiling. He says, of course, that's where the light is. You know, I'm talking about the inner light. He's talking, anyhow, you know what I mean? He's talking about this physical light. No, most people are straining. So what I teach is, well, one thing is you can wet the finger, index finger, and just put it there. And if you're watching this broadcast or this, you can just do that. And if you take the finger away, what you're going to feel is a cool sensation there. It's a cool sensation. So you put your awareness there. Now, what I teach is put your awareness there, because if you start looking up, then you're tending to strain and look too high. If you just have your awareness there, the eyes almost seem to automatically come up. You put your awareness here and have your awareness there. Now, I have an exercise that I do in my meditation class, and perhaps we could try doing it in another thing. But if you have a mirror in front of you, what I get the students to do, I say, look at your physical eyes in the mirror. So they're looking at their physical eyes. They get that sense of gaze. Now I say, look at your spiritual eye in the mirror. Now you only have to look up a wee little bit to look here in the mirror. I'm not talking about internally. I'm talking about looking in the mirror. Look at your physical eyes first, then look at your spiritual eyes, and you realize your gaze is just going up a wee little bit. Then I say, hold that lift and just focus here at the spiritual eye. And then people say, I've got it. It's just a simple lifting. It's just a simple awareness here. You got to relax your way into higher states of consciousness. You can't force it. It's not a straining exercise. It's not a forcing exercise. It's an unfolding. So it's a gentle upturning here. And I hope that's helpful. But that's the way I teach it. And yeah, and then just keep your awareness here. It's very scientific. Eyes open, looking straight ahead is conscious mind. Eyes closed and down is subconscious. But eyes upturned and focus here leads us to the superconscious. Now you can look at it with the eyes closed or half open, half closed, whatever is more comfortable. If people start nodding off in meditation, I remember I had some Buddhists come to me and they were really struggling with their meditation. And I says, well, how are you doing it? Well, most Buddhist meditation is open eye meditation, looking at a point down on the ground, maybe 6 feet in front of them, but their eyes are down and they're looking. You know, and very often, open eye meditation, well, very often that can take us into distractions, sensory distractions. It can also lead to the subconscious, you know, and sleepitation instead of meditation. But if we focus up here and make sure we're always up here, then it's going to lead to higher states of consciousness. I taught them that, and they came back the next week and said how much more powerful and much more centered their meditation was, how much more productive, because they were able to keep their awareness here.
Thank you for sharing that. You had mentioned about the stage that we're going through cosmically, and that we've gone through a dark age and that we're going almost into a golden age. The dark ages, can you just explain that to me?
Sure, yeah. And maybe we could talk a whole broadcast on it. It's very complex, but I'm going to make it very simple. Our planet is evolving. Now, because everything is relativity, our planet doesn't escape either. Everything is up and down. So our planet goes through world cycles. It goes through ascension and descension. Starts from the dark age, goes through different cycles till it gets to the golden age. And that age, most people on the planet are in God consciousness or higher states of consciousness. Then it descends once again, 12,000 years up, 12,000 years down. Where we are in this cycle right now is we've just come out of the dark materialistic age. 500 AD was the pits. It was the lowest point of all. And if you go back into history, I mean, it was pretty barbaric. It was pretty crude. And where we are now, and it happened in the Renaissance, we've shifted from Kali Yuga. There's in Eastern philosophy, they talk about different yugas. Well, Kali Yuga is the dark materialistic age. And it's why Jesus, he said, I can't teach these people meditation. They don't understand energy. He was trying to teach pranayama, life force control. I can only teach, he only taught his disciples. You know, he came back from India with these techniques. He was in India in his last years from 13 to 30. And he taught his disciples how to meditate and to attain higher states of consciousness. But he said to the masses, I can only teach them in parables. They don't have that depth of understanding because it was so dense and so gross. Most people are totally into material consciousness, body consciousness, material consciousness. But at the Renaissance, we got into a shift. That's when the discovery of electricity happened. That's when, and now we're coming into the age of energy. This is an exciting time right now because where we are right now, Anna, is we're at coming out of Kali, the dark materialistic age. We're into this age of energy and expansion. And right now, what is happening is the greed and the selfishness of this dark material age does not want to die because it's coming to the end of its cycle. And it's holding on like a dog, you know, and we're seeing this incredible evil that's happening in the planet right now. I mean, it said they're butting each other. I mean, it's a conflict. And then whenever you go from one age to another, it's a conflict. But the light is getting lighter. We're evolving to a higher state of consciousness. That's why all the sciences, the work that you're doing, energy work, and the beautiful herbs that you have behind you and the medicinal things, we're coming out of the dark way of doing things into the age of energy. It's why all the sciences are starting to blossom right now that have to do with energy control, pranayama, shiatsu, therapeutic touch, Reiki, chiropractic work that works with energy, the color work we're talking about. Yes, Edgar Casey said the healing of the future will be through color and sound. So we're coming to this expansion, and the light will win. This is just a temporary phase. This is a hiccup in the evolution of our planet. We're just going through this friction right now because this dark energy of greed and selfishness doesn't want to die, but the light is coming to the fore. And let me share this dream that Dayamata had that is very moving. Dayamata was the president of Self-Realization Fellowship. If you know Yogananda and his teachings, he was the one that brought yoga to the West in the 1920s. Anyhow, she had a super conscious dream, and she was in the Himalayas, and she has this experience. And she cried out in the night because she had this vision, and the other nuns that were with her came and asked if she was all right. She said no, and they asked what happened. She said, I don't want to talk about it. But what she saw in this vision was herself personally going through this trial. But when she saw this darkness, this dark cloud, and it was engulfing her, she cried out to God, cried out to that divine creative force or energy, to God, consciousness. And she said what she saw, that she personally was going to go through this serious illness. And she did. She actually was rushed to the hospital, and they were operating her on the wrong thing. And actually, her teacher, Yogananda, said it was actually her time to pass, but she came through it, and she had an experience of Divine Mother that asked her to stay. And, you know, even though she was seeing the beauty of the astral realm, she was asked to stay, and she did. And then she came out of it. And then she saw that the world, this dark evil, this force was trying to engulf the entire planet. It was almost strangling the planet. And then she saw the light came, and then it broke it all up, and the light dominated. But she said what the message is and what the problem is right now. because she had her mind on God, she was freed from that particular illness and was freed. She said humanity has to learn to put their consciousness back on their creator, their soul, their source, God consciousness. We've divorced ourselves from that essence. And that's why the power of meditation, spiritualized meditation, we got to reconnect with our source. That's the problem. We're disconnected and we're caught in material consciousness. Once we can expand and allow that expansive light to be part of ourselves, then this whole planet will evolve into a utopia, as you mentioned. The good news, the hope is this planet is evolving. It's a young planet. Many people talk about annihilation, distinction, the end of the planet. No such thing. This planet is a young planet. But it's going through this stage, but it is evolving. And we will be free of this darkness. We will. We just have to keep our mind on a higher plane. And I know because we are in this conflict, it is so easy to get caught up in the darkness, the sorrow that you can feel in the ether, the despair, the lack of hope, the hopelessness. I mean, it's permeating the planet right now. If you're not careful, you can get sucked right into it. We got to keep our mind on that positive plane. I am the diamond. Everybody on this planet is a beautiful diamond soul consciousness. We have that perfect essence, that perfect peace, perfect love, joy. We are all God incarnates. We're all peace of God. And we need to keep our awareness, our consciousness on that. And then the light will come. We can lift this vibration out of the darkness into a higher plane of being and consciousness.
I like how you say put our consciousness on our creator, and I love that. I think that might be the title of a new song we should write together. Is there anything that you would like to say to finish off this session today?
I think you've already said it, Anna, and what touched you, and I think everybody needs to come to that and constantly remember it. Keep your consciousness on your creator, on your source. Go back to the fountain. Everybody's seeking, wanting love, they're wanting peace and these things. And we look externally for it, and we're looking at little streams or trickles of that love. And it's beautiful, and we should do that. But why not go to the fountain, the creator who is all love, all bliss, that cosmic heart that is, and Yogananda said it so beautifully. He said, a beautiful definition of God. I love it. And each time I tell it to somebody, it usually moves them. God is all the love of all the lovers who've ever loved. That's a lot of love. That's what our source is. That's what our source is. All the love of all the lovers who have ever loved. And if we're made in that image, what is the nature of our soul? All the love of all the lovers who have ever loved. That's the capacity that we can experience if we go within and can reconnect. So yeah, putting our consciousness back on our source, our creator, that has created us as beautiful, beautiful divine beings. And we are beautiful, beautiful cosmic unconditional love. Keep your consciousness on your creator, as you said.
Thank you for that, Alexander. And I know this is time where you usually go into your personal and your sacred space in your meditation. So thank you for sharing your time with me, and blessings to you. And I look forward to seeing you again.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to it too. Thank you. And for whoever's tuning in with this, God bless. And I bow to the God within you, the creator, creative spirit within you.